if you like hand management games, if you like going fast and zipping around a track, if you like a little bit of historical accuracy with several dashes of retrofuturism, then you might like Heat, Pedal to the Metal, a game all about 1960s stock car racing around and in the Grand Prix. So, let's head to the table and see what is in this box. All right, here's the Heat, Pedal to the Metal box. And right on the back here, we have a nice illustration of what the board setup will look like when it's out of the box. And down in the left-hand corner, we do have a components list, and 1 to 6 players, ages 10 plus, and about 60 minutes playing time, or that's what Days of Wonder claims. So, let's open this up. Right away, we are hit with a rules, Heat, Pedal to the Metal. Read this booklet first. It says very adamantly right here. This booklet will teach you all the rules to play the core game. And, all right. So we open it up. We do have an illustrated itemized components list right here. Objects of the game, setting up the game, playing around. Just kind of rules here. And that is it. At least for the core game, the rulebook barely starts before it finishes. You could get through this in 15 minutes, depending on your reading speed. This is learn in an afternoon. Learn in the afternoon before you teach the game to your friends. Maybe. But then we have this other book here that says Play Different, and this is actually just a catalog, you can see there. So other Days of Wonder games, all of their Ticket to Ride stuff, all of their Small World stuff, or at least some of it. This is actually in Memoir 44, great game. This is actually kind of a cool, 5 tribes, very nice. Cool catalog, if you care about such things. Next, we're hit with a punch board. A couple things have already been punched out here, fallen out. That's okay. We have some, and these come out very cleanly. Got some punch cards. It looks like these are weather or road conditions. Excuse me. Need some of this coffee here. Delicious. All right. So we have some kind of weather condition tiles. And some other things here. It looks like there are a few things that punch out here that are standees. So we punch this out, and punch this out, and punch this out. This turns into a cardboard standee, very clearly, of spectators with old school 1950s, 1960s cameras. All right, so then I knew we'd have more rules here somewhere. We are hit with a Heat, Pedal to the Metal Advanced Play in Championship System rulebook. So extra components. There's more components here that's illustrated and itemized. Garage module, Legends module. So more ways to play. Championship System, Tournament mode, and then on the back we have kind of an iconography guide. Next, we are hit with, this looks like player boards, and these are printed on both sides, player boards, but on the back sides we just have basically hoods of the stock cars, which is actually really cool. We'll get to the gaming sides of these in a second. Well, I want to be green. I want to be green number 5. All right. And we'll come back to those. Okay. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, we should have 6, and we do. 6 player boards, so we flip these over, and I think they go this way. Yeah, so whole bunch of iconography up here representing the dash of the car, and then you've got places for cards, I assume. You've got pedals here. I assume gas, brake, and clutch. And then you have kind of what is, I assume, is a shifter here. And yeah, lots of iconography. And let's see, I think these are all the same starting out. So I don't think you have variable player powers in the cars themselves, which makes sense because, you have rules and regulations for stock cars in terms of their abilities and components. At least you do now, maybe less so in the 60s, but I think all these player boards are the same. Oh, and then there are also these boards, which kind of, maybe this is like a pit crew game board, sideboard. And this is, I'm not sure what these do, but these are extra boards here. So all of these player boards and sideboards are made out of glossy poster board style paper, rather than thicker cardboard. So not my favorite material for component, but it will do. And then we are hit with 2 game boards and a whole bunch of other stuff in the bottom of the box. So we're going to come back to this. Let's move the coffee and this box stuff and look at some game boards. So let's look at USA first. Not that we should have a USA first policy. I just pick one. Okay. So these boards, and which I'm going to try and put face up here, are a little bigger than I have in the camera angle here, but you get the basic idea. So you have Italia, and you can see here that, where's the starting? Looks like there. And go around on this board, and you can see that they're kind of, the spaces are divided up on both the X and Y axis. So yeah, and then up in, really nice illustration. This is kind of happening on the beach setting. We have some numbers here, which I assume is vying for position of one type or of another. You have numbers all around the inside track here, and numbers here as well. So clearly these do something, which we'll get to. It's a really nice hot air balloon right there. That's very cute. And then if we flip this board over, we have the USA side of the board. Okay. So we've looked at Italy. Now we've got the USA side of the board, and this is clearly like in the desert. And these tracks seem to be very similar. But yeah, very different graphic here, kind of in this industrial zone. And then if we look at this other board, we have France. Which is certainly a different type of track. And this is happening, in the greenery in the forests of France. Very nice. We have this lake with birds and things like that. And then on the other side, we have a board for Great Britain. So you're actually getting 4 game boards in one here, because you have the Italy track, the USA track, the France track, and the Great Britain track. Which is actually quite cool because all the illustrations are quite different. It looks like there is some notable variation in the track layout themselves for gameplay. So it's really nice that they put 4 game boards in here and didn't make you buy an expansion pack right off the bat. Now you might be thinking, Pete, the gaming community already has Formula D and Flame Rouge and Downforce. Why do we need another racing game? And I would say to you, why don't we need another racing game? So bringing back the game board here, and we are hit with 3 massive decks of cards, which we'll get to in a minute. We have some pawn tokens right here, and there are 6 of them. one in each player color. And these are made of fairly light plastic, and it's interesting how thin they are. They are sturdy, they don't bend, so you don't have to worry about that. Don't put too much pressure on them because they might snap. But these are, even though they look thin and light, and they are thin and light, they are actually very sturdy pieces. Which is good. And here we have a score sheet, a very simple score sheet, which is hopefully a good thing. They are single-sided in color, single-sided, and you get approximately 30 of them. Easily photocopiable, or just take a picture of your phone, scan it in, print it out, done. And then we have the stock car minis. And they come in, there are 6 of them in the 6 player colors, of course, and they do indeed have their little numbers on them. Look at that. I'm just gonna flip them over so you can see the undersides there. And if we take one of these boards, I won't unfold the whole board again, but you can see how you can place these stock cars and on these little game board spaces, and they all fit quite nicely on each space on the board. So you can have this kind of like slice of a race right here, very, very close, very intense race. Those cards fit quite nicely. So there you go. And these are pretty, light plastic but sturdy pieces as well. And then you have a storage solution for all these cards and pawns and things like that, which seems like it could work out fairly well. Put this over the side. All right, some baggies there. Now we have these 3 big decks of cards. So if we can open these up right quick, not too much of a hassle. Okay, so let's see if we can separate these cards into different categories. Okay, so these are all racing flags. We've got more racing flags here. Okay, that's all that. Okay. I think we got it. Okay, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different types of cards here. Let's start with these. And you have 4 of these, and these just look like cards that go with the 4 different game boards. So you have France, Italy, Great Britain, and the United States. And I don't know if maybe you just shuffle these to draw a random order for which race you do, either if you're doing a one-off or maybe in a tournament, perhaps. That's my best guess for why these are included. And then if we look at these, we have... Okay, so the first 3, new grandstand inauguration. First 3 drivers across the finish line on the first lap immediately gain a sponsorship card. Okay, so... a new speed record. Each time you reach a speed of 15 or more, immediately gain a sponsorship card. So these are like objectives, essentially, to get rewards. Driver strike. This race is 1 lap shorter than usual. The winner of this race is awarded 2 extra championship points. Okay, yeah, so these are like event objective type cards. Engine restrictions lifted. All drivers start the race with an extra heat card from the reserve in their engine spot. Record crowds. This race is 1 lap longer than usual, and hand sizes increased to 8 cards, and so on and so forth. So just flipping through these. Okay, no title sponsor, no special rules.
So there are these, like I said, event or objective cards of some type.
Now, some of you might already know that I love stacks and stacks of cards. If a board game has stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks of cards that I can fan out and throw down and trade and all this stuff and manage and blah, 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 then I'm halfway home. That doesn't mean it's a good game, and there are plenty of games that have thousands of cards in that I'm like, those mechanics are no good, or that theme is not for me, or whatever. But I'm very excited about how many cards are in Heat Pedal to the Metal and the artwork that is on each of them. So, let's get back to it and check out what's left to unbox in this box.
Here we have got these helmets on the back, and we've got some iconography here, and don't exactly know, these kind of look like race positions or something. Not sure exactly what these do, but there they are. Next we have these. So racing flags. Oh, okay. So these are racing flags. Maybe they just goes in that pile. So there's 6 types of cards. Here we have. Oh, these are more racing flags. Okay. So tons of racing flags. And these are okay. So it's like 4 types of cards. My bad. But here we have, I think these are heat cards. These are like build-up heat cards. So I think this game's like part racing, part deck building, essentially. And I think heat might clog up your deck in some sort of way, if I had to guess. So these are all basically the same, but you're trying to manage your heat. Battletech players will know what that's about. So a whole bunch of like heat cards. Maybe I'm assuming, think like curse cards in Dominion in a way. Now we have this massive racing flag deck of cards, and we have 4-wheel drive. So these are like upgrades. 4-wheel drive, body, and you see brakes, see different types of brakes, lots of different variations in the illustrations. I mean, these are variations on the same thing, obviously. Very similar, but they did make the cooling system the relevant part of the drawing quite different, which is nice. Very clever in how they kept the base drawing the same, but added the variation in the art. A lot of games do that, but these cards are actually quite pretty. There's another heat card. Body, cooling system. Different, like even in their fuel cans. Again, the underlying art is the same, but they did different types of fuel cans with like a dead guy here and a biohazard sign there. It's not a warning grenade. This is like biohazard fuel. Okay. I'm actually very impressed with this artwork. Tires, turbochargers, wings, 4-wheel drive, another heat card snuck in there. It's kind of probably how that works in the game. Brakes, cooling systems, RPM, more heat, more body. So you get the idea. We're going through the same type of stuff here. But are we done? We are not, because we still have all of these cards, which is too much to go through. So these aren't the same as heat cards, but these do something. Maybe there's a bonus types of cards. Diamond brakes. More upgrades for engines and body and wings and things like this. And tons more upgrades here as well. And then here, still with the racing flag back, we have just these numbered cards. Maybe this is for a number of spaces you can go. And you see it is in the different player colors. So I'm going to guess that these numbered cards here are kind of the base cards for any given player's hand or deck. Is what I assume. So that is everything that comes in the base game of Heat Pedal to the Metal.
So there it is. Now we have taken stock of what is in this stock car racing game by Days of Wonder. Days of Wonder, yes? Yes, Days of Wonder, right there. They have a great reputation. Their games are all over the map in terms of complexity. You have some very simple games, and then you have some very complex games by Days of Wonder. And Heat Pedal to the Metal seems to be somewhere right in the middle of the Days of Wonder range. Like I've already said, there are lots of racing games, and Heat Pedal to the Metal is not the only car-themed, cars are a theme, game to be released this year. Steve Jackson Games just released the 6th edition of Car Wars, which is an entirely different thing, I admit. The fact that I'm mentioning it here makes very little sense. But like I did say, the community already has things like Flame Rouge and Formula D, which is really no good. And Downforce, which I love. I love Downforce. But the hand management that comes in Heat really caught my eye. So I'm excited about that, and you have to admit that this artwork is just top-notch, incredibly compelling. And who doesn't want to go back to the 1960s? That was cool, right? We still had hope then? I don't know. Whatever. There were a lot of other bad things about the 1960s, and difficult things, and things that hopefully lead to a better future, but that's for some other video on some other channel. I do recommend you check out Heat Pedal to the Metal. I hope this unboxing was helpful. There's the back of the box, and we will see you next time.